Hello, today is August 30th, 2011. My name is Alexander Hagen, and I am going to play for you tonight one of Winston Churchill's finest speeches, A Hush Over Europe. I'm going to play this speech for you because I think it needs to be in the public domain. I haven't been able to find it online. And I think it speaks to a great concern about the violence being conducted against Libya. So what would Sir Winston Churchill have to say about Libya? As Westerners, we obviously have no quarrel with those in Libya who would seek change and seek greater freedom. But we do have a quarrel with the hypocrisy of the Western powers, our governments, to refuse to permit talks. Yes, that is right. Our governments have essentially forbidden the rebels to conduct in negotiations with the standing government. I haven't made pictures for you of the thousands of burnt carcasses littered over Libya that I have seen online, and if you have the desire, you may see yourself. But to go to war when it isn't necessary, and to kill and destroy a country, to take a peaceful country and traumatize it with national violence, is really astounding if we believe that we are decent people. I'm sure many of you don't hold my views, and I hope you will wait and listen to Hush Over Europe and disregard anything I should say that you might find offensive. So we have to learn how to read the newspapers and listen to the radio and television and internet very skeptically. And we mustn't caricature people who don't agree with us, because someday or another you're going to end up coming around to some portion of agreement with people that don't share your view presently. And if you vilify and caricature them, you will simply have shut a door to in your own life. And remember how Vietnam and Afghanistan and Iraq have turned out, and how the press cheered all of these horrors, and how we demonized, in some cases, the entire population in the anti-Islamic and anti-Muslim hysterias, anti-communist hysterias, as we called the Vietnamese the gooks. And those who rush in are forever disgraced in politics. They become overcautious, and then they jump on a bandwagon. So here are the questions that I want to frame Hush Over Europe around. These are questions that were not asked. Rather than thinking, we killed. The first question is, it actually appears that there is more support for the Libyan government than there is for the rebels. Time will tell, or perhaps the records will be erased. I started supporting the rebels. There are detailed studies of this. You may Google, if election was held today, how would Gaddafi do? You can read articles going through each tribe, each allegiance, each alliance. And you must know that Libya had the highest standard of living in Africa, although it was a very, very unfree country indeed. Yet, you would have begged to have been born a Libyan had you been average African. It would have been the only country you would have had a chance to go to college, have a medical attention throughout your life. If you can't eat, and you are sick, and you cannot have education, the freedom of speech, it's a wonderful thing, but it certainly doesn't seem nearly as wonderful. Secondly, the whole business about the starting of the war, the attack on Benghazi, was grossly exaggerated. Susan Rice, our UN ambassador, has gone on to say that tens of thousands would have been killed. She is knowingly lying. 3, what impact will our having decided to bomb instead of think have on the children of Libya? Libya was one of the most peaceful countries in the world. It was vastly less likely you would die violently in Libya than in the United States or Britain. They had 3 per, 1,000 death rate, and we have an 8 per 1,000 death rate. As of March, we had managed to help Libya attain American standards by increasing their death rate from 3 per 1,000 to 8 per 1,000, and now we've probably pushed it up to a nice healthy 40 per 1,000. 4. Why have we ignored the ceasefire? Why have we permitted the rebels to refuse to negotiate with the sitting government to introduce elections? Some have even said the rebels have been forbidden to negotiate by NATO. 5. NATO says that they can kill anyone in Libya who might harm a civilian, anyone in a tank, anyone in a police car, because they are with the Libyan people. But they have no proof of this. Which Libyan people are they with when they bomb Libya, when they kill the young men of Libya who are defending their country? Perhaps wrongly, a wrong-headed defense, but they're just like any people. The young men have to pay with their lives. And why has there not been any response to the June 26 Amnesty International and Doctors Without Borders reports showing that all the initial accusations of rape with Viagra, of mercenaries, of heavy weapon use on civilians, all of these alleged atrocities, none of them could be substantiated. Of course, things are now coming out, but the fact is that the exaggeration of the excesses of the Gaddafi government and the minimization of the threats of these jihadists that are in the opposition along with the liberals has distorted the whole framing of the debate. 7. Why has our government never addressed that Libya had the highest standard of living in Africa? And who are we to determine that that Gaddafi has no moral authority when we ourselves have done such a terrible job recently of taking care of our people? And then 9, why can't we use diplomacy? Why is the United States the only country to invade other countries since the end of the Cold War? And really even before that. I mean, Afghanistan, of course, was an exception with the Russian invasion of Afghanistan, but since Vietnam, it's really been the U.S. that's been the primary bloodletter in the world. 3 million Vietnamese killed, 1 million Iraqis. And why will the press not directly confront these questions? Why do they want to give us false information? Don't they understand that information is the currency of the world today? And 10, many have said that we are going to get kudos in the Arab world for doing something about a dictator. But how does saturation bombing Libya appear to people in the developing world? I can tell you right now, it's disaster for us politically in terms of our image in the world. I have gone through blogs, I have looked at message boards, and many people all over the world who disliked Gaddafi intensely are very, very angry at NATO and the United States and Britain and France. They put aside their quarrel with Gaddafi. Their quarrel is with us now. Go look at message boards in Algeria. Copy them and paste them in the Google Translate. Due to the perceived wall of disinformation, this extremely violent, brutal peacekeeping mission, what do you think the polls are in the Arab world? And finally, why are we arming militants who will put women back in their headdresses and in the houses in a society where women have full employment rights? Why are we arming militants to destroy a secular government? And why does it appear that the US, NATO, and Al-Qaeda are operating jointly in Libya? If you don't believe me, consider that Al-Qaeda bombed Algeria the other day for supporting Gaddafi, just as we are bombing Gaddafi. We're on the same side on the issue. And the people from Cyrenaica who are attacking, they're good-hearted reformists, people who want freedom, but there's also the vast majority of their military wing are jihadists and Salafists I'm not criticizing them, I am pointing it out. So, let us listen to Hush Over Europe.
Holiday time, ladies and gentlemen. Holiday time, my friends across the Atlantic. Holiday time when the summer calls the toilets of all countries for an awesome brief spell from the offices and mills and stiff routine of daily life and breadwinning, and sends them to seek, if not rest, at least change in new surroundings, to return refreshed and keep the myriad wheels of civilized society on the move. Let me look back. Let me see. How did we spend our summer holidays 25 years ago? Why, these were the very days when the German advance guards were breaking into Belgium and trampling down the Belgian people on their march towards Paris. These were the days, the very days, when Prussian militarism was, to quote its own phrase, hacking its way through the small, weak neighbor country, whose neutrality and independence they had sworn not merely to respect, but to defend. But perhaps we are wrong. Perhaps our memory deceives us. Dr. Goebbels, you've heard of him. Dr. Goebbels and his propaganda machine have their own version of what happened 25 years ago. To hear them talk, you would suppose that it was Belgium that invaded Germany. There they were, these peaceful Prussians, gathering in their armies, when this wicked Belgium, set on by England and the Jews, fell upon them, and would no doubt have taken Berlin if Corporal Adolf Hitler had not come to the rescue and turned the table. Indeed, their tale goes further. After 4 years of war by land and sea, when, according to them, Germany was about to win an overwhelming victory, the Jews got at them again, this time from the rear. Armed with President Wilson's 14 points, they stabbed the German armies in the back, so we are told, and induced them to ask for an army, and even persuaded them in an unguarded moment to sign a paper saying that it was they and not the Belgians who had been the ones to begin the war. Such is history, ladies and gentlemen. Such is history as it is taught in topsy-turvy. And now it is holiday again. And where are we now? Or, as you sometimes ask in the United States, where do we go from here? There is a hush all over Europe. Nay, all over the world. A hush broken only by the dull thud of Japanese bombs falling on Chinese cities and Chinese universities, or near British and American ships in the Far East. Alas, it is the hush of suspense, and in many lands it is the hush of fear. Listen, I think I hear something. It is the tramp of armies crunching the gravel of parade grounds, splashing through rain-soaked fields. It is the tramp of 2 million German soldiers, more than 1 million Italians, going on maneuvers. Oh yes, only on maneuvers. Of course it's only maneuvers, just like last year. After all, the dictators must train their soldiers. They can scarcely do that. Than that, in common troops, when, as we all know, the Danes, the Dutch, the Swiss, the Albanians, and of course the Jews may leap out upon them at any moment and rob them of their living space and make them sign another paper to say who began it. Besides, these German and Italian armies may have another work of liberation to perform. It was only last year that they liberated Austria from the horrors of self-government. It was only in March of this year that they freed the Czechoslovak Republic from the misery of independent existence. It's only